King Charles III will walk in silence behind the carriage with other senior royals, including his siblings Anne, Andrew and Edward. When the cortege reaches Westminster Hall at the Palace of Westminster, the coffin will be carried inside by soldiers from the Grenadier Guards. There will be a short service conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, the spiritual head of the Anglican Church. Well, for more on this, let's cross now to our SABC News correspondent in London, Laura Makin-Isherwood. A very good afternoon, Laura. Thank you very much for joining us. So today, obviously, is a very big day for mourners, as the Queen's mortal remains will be lying in state at Westminster Hall for 4 days. So what's the series of events that we're expecting to take place in the run-up to this?
Well, this will be the last time that Queen Elizabeth II leaves Buckingham Palace. She'll be placed on the back of a gun carriage and taken to Westminster Hall. It's a short journey, really, but it's expected to take around 40 minutes to make that transition from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster, which is the building you can see behind me with Big Ben attached to it there. And there she'll lie in state for 4 days. But this is being seen as quite a symbolic moment for the royal family. It signifies this shift, of course. We'll see King Charles III walking behind that carriage, following his mother towards the next stage in her journey, and he'll be flanked by his sons, Prince William, who is now first in line to the throne since that shift, and his brother Prince Harry. Now, this will be the second time in quite a while that they've been seen together in the open, in an event that is seen as quite ceremonial and significant. Of course, there's been a lot of drama, hasn't there, over the last few months? Speculation about a bit of a rift between those two brothers. We last saw them in Windsor, of course, coming together with both of their wives to look at the flowers that had been left outside Windsor Castle, read those messages of condolence that have been written by the public in memory of their grandmother, the Queen. And today they will follow that carriage, their grandmother, towards Westminster Hall. Other royals will be there too. The King's siblings, they'll walk alongside, while the Queen Consort Camilla and Kate, the now Princess of Wales, as well as Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, they will follow along in cars behind. It's expected to be quite the spectacle, with more than 1,000 members of the military involved. And of course, people are expected to push into central London just to get a glimpse of that coffin as it moves along that route.
So, Laura, as we speak to you, we do have on camera as well pictures of people waiting. Presumably, people started waiting as early as yesterday to catch a glimpse of the mortal remains of Queen Elizabeth when they open up the doors at the church.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, there's been someone at the front of the queue since Monday, so someone who really wanted to be desperate to be one of the first people in to pay their respects in person to Queen Elizabeth II. There's a big operation in place to make sure that those that are deciding to queue are looked after. There's barriers being placed, and the expectation is that there could be hundreds of thousands of people that pass through those doors and pass by the Queen, with the queue expected to hit around 4 miles in length at some points over the next 4 days. Now, we understand that the doors will open at 5 o'clock local time, so that's just under 4 hours time now. And then it will continue until the very early hours of Monday. There will be a final cut-off time, and anyone after that, even if they've been waiting for hours and hours, will simply not be allowed to pay their respects to the Queen. Such is the significance of this event, the absolute certainty that officials want to make sure that this goes without a hitch, and of course the big operation in place by police and other officials trying to navigate the route and also push people into the right places. And for the first time ever, there is this speculation that London will be full, just simply because of the amount of people that will head to the capital, they say, to try to pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth.
I can imagine. And then lastly, of course, as we throw forward to next week, when VIPs will be attending Her Majesty's funeral, I suppose security is going to be top-notch then.
Absolutely, and it must be, of course. We've got so many presidents, prime ministers, other heads of state that will be in London at the same time. It will be an enormous security situation. There will be plenty of police around. We've already seen an increased presence, including people coming from, police officers coming from Wales to join the London teams here in order to support them. And there will be military around as well, simply because they need extra personnel, extra bodies in place along the route, ensuring that people are where they need to be at all times. And of course, protecting those VIPs, as you've called them. Now, there's some questions about how they're going to be moved around, reports that actually they're going to be placed on a bus and transported to Westminster Abbey in order to reach that funeral. Now, let's see what happens with that, because there's been a bit of criticism, and of course there may be some concerns about having so many leaders in the same place at the same time, but this will have been planned to the absolute letter, and I can assure you that nobody here in London will want anything to go wrong. So you can absolutely expect that there will be police officials, government involvement in this in order to ensure that they are doing everything they possibly can to ensure safety.
Thanks very much there, Laura Makin-Isherwood, reporting for us in London.